folks, Rachel here from Beads by Verchiel, bringing you this week's tutorial time. How are you all doing? I am hoping that the connection here is okay. So I'm just going to babble on for a bit longer while I wait for you guys to join me. So as always, please do give me a thumbs up and do pop me a note in the comments so I know you're present with me. Right, I'm hoping the internet here is okay. Yay, fantastic. Hello Kim, hello Francis, hello Kevin, hello Anne, hello Trisha. How are you all doing? Hope you're all keeping well. Luckily, I had quite a good journey down. Hello, Lulu. Hello, Carol. She says she's on time. Hello, Kevin. I've even bought my lighting that I borrowed from, wrong way round. Hang on. No, we won't bother with that. Anyway, I've got my lighting all set up, so hopefully you can see me okay. Hello Anne. So I have the lariat necklace that we made in last week's tutorial. So we learned how to make this peyote slider bar as well. So tonight we're actually going to be making this very sweet little peyote ring. So we've got bead embroidery at the top and a peyote bar at the back. Hello Jane. No, surprisingly enough, Peterborough is not too grotty at all. I was a bit worried because yesterday they were in the flood warning zone, but luckily I think it's just missed us because it all seemed quite fine. You're repeating and jumping. Oh dear. Hello Janet. Can you all let me know whether or not the reception is okay from where you are? Oh, I'm not too clear at the moment. Hi Mum. Right, what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to switch my mobile data on as well, just to see if that helps. Right, let's try that. Bit fuzzy. All clear, Kevin says. Right, is that any better? Fine here. A bit fuzzy. Oh dear. Right. Anyway, so for tonight, a bit fuzzy but watchable. Okay, well hopefully you can get the gist anyway. So what we're going to be using tonight is a very tiny piece of Beading Foundation. Now I have lots of small pieces, so if you just want to buy a little bit to do this project, do let me know. Hello Mum. My mum, Christine Fitter, in the house. It's good to have you, Mum. Instead of E6000 glue, we're going to go for double-sided sticky tape because it's not a very heavy cabochon. Now, these wee little cabochons that have been coming up in the group for most of the day are what we're actually going to be using tonight. And I'm going to be using size 10 seed beads. Now, I have to confess, I don't really have any 15s in stock, but they're handy if you've got some in your stash to use them for the edging. Hello Betty, hello Tracy. Carol says it's repeating and then you're out of sync. I am really sorry about that. I don't think there's a lot I can really do other than just keep going and hope you can get the gist. Right. In terms of this week's freebie, let's just show you that. So even if it's not so good, just make sure you give a thumbs up and you pop a comment, and I will do a little draw at the end. Congrats to Emma, she won last week and that's on her way to her now. So in this little kit, you've got 4 mini cabochons. You've got some faux suede backing or ultra suede. the 2 blue colours and some backing. I'll pop you some double-sided sticky tape in there as well. Crash on it will still be fab. Oh, bless you. Right, let's have a little zoomy in, but before we do that, let's just show you the next bit. So what I've done is I've got a shadow around me. Got a shadow around me. Oh, okay, I can't see the shadow. So I've got some double-sided sticky tape and I'm just going to peel it off and pop it onto my backing. Now, we've not done this with any of the projects before because you've really needed E6000 to carry the weight, but because it's quite a lightweight thing, so I'm just going to take the backing off and I'm just going to pop that in the middle there. It's my halo. Oh, sorry, I'm very fuzzy, Sharon. We're going to have to go with the fuzziness, I'm afraid. Okay, so let's zoom in. I have my size 10 beading needle. If you can, work with about 1.5 meters of thread and pop yourself a double knot at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, I'm just going to empty these out onto my mat. This is a great little beginner's project as well. So even if you haven't done bead embroidery before, and what we do is we sew onto this foundation as well and we trim around it after. So let's zoom in, but do pop your comments in the thread if you've got any questions. Hello, Lydia. I don't think I've said hello to you. Right. Let's zoom in. There we go. As you know, it just takes a wee bit of time. So hopefully you can see that. So I'm going to start just about 1 millimeter from the side of the cabochon. And we're going to work in even numbers because we're going to do a little bit of peyote around it. So we're going to add 4 seed beads. Now lay it around the cabochon and take a nosedive down. Okay, and we're going to turn this over and we're going to back stitch into the previous stitch. And then push through all 4 of those. And then add another 4. Now you will need to bear with me. It's going to be a longer than normal project, but what we might do is perhaps do it in 2 parts. We'll see how you go. To add another 4, take a nosedive down. It doesn't actually take that long, if I'm honest. Right, we're going to back stitch into the previous hole, which should bring you out at the start of that group of 4. Now, if you're new to this, do by all means pop me any questions, whether you're new or existing to it. Do pop me a note, because I think when you've done it for a while, you kind of forget that there's obvious things that you haven't pointed out. It's obvious to me, but not to everybody else. Now, the reason why I'm adding even numbers is so that I can do an even count peyote around the top, and it will all make sense in a little bit. Right, so we're adding another 4. So this is great for just your bead embroidery scraps as well, you know, the foundation pieces. Right, let's make sure it's better to make sure you don't scrunch them up. Give them plenty of space to work in these seed beads. So we're just adding 4 at a time and back stitching. So quite quickly getting around it. But for all the other people in the group, so they know who to ask questions to as well, is do pop a note in the comments, even if you know that I know you do bead embroidery. Do pop a note in the comments and let everybody know what bead embroidery projects you've done, or if you're a beginner. Whoops. Now I know my mum, if she's still in the group, my mum has just started doing the hedgehog Cyril. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I know Lulu has, because she had her piece shown on her channel when I was on there last. Right, so I'm back stitching. So can you see I've almost come to the end of this part. Now the difficulty is when you get to completing that last bit is you need to make sure that you've got an even amount. But the good thing is with these check beads is you could choose some smaller ones, because sometimes they just vary in size a little bit. There we go. Oh, there we go. That fits just beautifully, look. Take a nosedive down. Now, when you complete your last group of 4 and you back stitch, this time you're going to go all the way around all the beads you've just added. Some very funny noises coming from outside my door. I kind of didn't think there'd be many people here, but it sounds quite busy. Right, so what the reinforcing around all of them does is just helps them to sit more uniformly. And I can't remember where I started, but if you look at the back, you can see where your tail is. Okay, so we'll just push those seed beads to one side, and I'm going to switch to size 15s. Now, for those of you that haven't done this before, these are really the smallest beads you can have. So I am now going to, if you look at this, I'm going to create that inner bit there, and it also locks the cabochon into place a little bit better. So I'm adding one on there, skipping the next one and going through the next one. Now don't worry too much about pulling it tight. Add one, miss a bead and go through the next one, because we're actually going to do 2 rows, and on the second row we're going to pull it in a little bit more. So you skip over that one, so you basically add in a seed bead, skipping over the next one and going through one. But you won't really see any impact until the next row. But would really love to hear what projects are you guys all working on at the moment, and then I'll have a look in the thread afterwards. And don't forget, please do join me. I'm on Hochanda tomorrow at 1. And I got my new buzzy bees. Right, miss one, go through one. Do you know one of the most difficult parts of this, for those of you that have done it before, you'll so be able to relate to this, is the fact that if you're not careful, you can do what they call splitting your thread, which means that you actually go right in the middle of your thread and it makes it sit funny. Now you can see we're getting closer towards the end of this. So what we do is you add one, let's get a bit closer closer. Okay, and can you see there's actually a seed bead right next to it? So we're going to step up into that. Now, for the final little round in this, I'm just going to zoom in a wee bit more. Okay, so that's where we're at. Now, I'm going to add a seed bead, another 15, and I'm going to push my needle through the one we've added in the previous row. And we're going to start pulling that to the front or over the cabochon. Oh, this has got a mind of its own. We go through that seed bead sticking out. Now, something I've just thought of, because it's just catching, is just round the corners off, because it keeps catching. There we go. I hope you're all still there. I can see I've still got viewers, which is a bonus. Hopefully it's not fuzzy. Right, can you see how that's pulling in now? Add one, go through the next seed bead. And isn't that amazing? I mean, you're halfway through that, and that's nearly the bead embroidery part completed. Now what I'm going to do once I've finished this little bit is I'm just going to have a quick look at your notes, make sure that the broadcast is going okay, and seeing if you want me to show you the next stage. Because let's face it, I'm not exactly busy right now. Everything's prepped for tomorrow, and everything's been sent up beforehand because you have to send it by post. It's just my preparation, my demonstration bits I bring with me. Right, can you see how you're pulling that in now? And do another one. Just got a few more left. One. It's so nice. I don't want to jinx it, but my other phone was becoming a bit of a nightmare. So we step up into the last one. I'm just going through a few more. And I'm just going to pull that in tight. And with my needle, I'm actually going to step down through those two beads there and through to the back. Let's turn that round so that you can see. So that is your cabochon. I think that's so cute, that little cabochon. So I'm just going to zoom out and just have a look at your questions and make sure it's all right. Oh, goody. That seems to have settled. Hello, Dot. Yes, that's peyote around the cabochon. June's going to put a picture in the thread later on. Fabulous. Kevin's just made a ring from one of my videos. Brilliant. Make sure you put that in the January thread now that you've got it cracked, Kevin. Carol, all the glitches have settled. Betty likes the sound of that. Will I post them on the Facebook page? Right, you mean the cabochons or the foundation, Betty? Glad you like it, Dot, and Sharon and Carol. Betty, yes, I have been busy. I have been busy, but it's better to be busy than not, isn't it? Are you guys okay for me to carry on? So what I'm going to be showing you is this peyote band at the back. So I'll just wait for you to pop your comments through. Now, really, you can use any size bead that you want to in this. I've edged the inside with 15s because you really need a size difference to take down so that it sucks it in, to keep the cabochon in place. So I'm getting lots of thumbs up, so I'm presuming you're quite happy for me to carry on, yeah? I'm glad you like the look of that, Tracy. So I'm going to presume you're quite happy. What time is it? Oh, we're still okay for time. But how quick was that? I'm not expecting you all to do it at that speed, because obviously I do an awful lot of bead embroidery. And it's not a race at the end of the day. It's something to be enjoyed and to take your time with. So I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to show you the next little bit. Right, so do fire away with any questions that you've got. Right, let's zoom you in. As you know, this just takes a little bit of time. I think I've got a little bit of shadowing only because I've got so many lights at the moment. Now, do you know, I am actually going to tie a knot at the back so that I keep my tension tight. So to do that, I'm just going to go under a little bit of foundation and I'm going to form a knot. That's just going to help keep that tension on there. Now we need to cut really this foundation because we don't need this. And in my wisdom, I've just cut my thread off, but luckily I knotted it beforehand, so that was sensible. So can you see with this? Now, don't cut into your stitches. Always cut from the back is my advice, but you will hear different tutorials, sorry about that, telling you different things. It's just what I've learned is I prefer to go from the back because you can get it so close. Do you like my scissors? How cool are they? I might order some more in to sell. They're so cute, psychedelic. Right, and what we would obviously do is you'd have a little piece of the ultra suede backing that you'd glue on the back there to cover that up. Right, I'm just going to re-knot it. And so I'm going to instantly join the peyote onto this. So just going in from the back, you would have still had your knot. Now, oops, bear with me a second while I just reassemble what I'm doing. Just double checking on camera. Now, this is my top tip. Now I've messed that up just slightly, but never mind. We are going to join this peyote here at the side. So what you want to do is really to find where the middle point is. So I'm just going to highlight that to myself by popping a needle through there. So I am going to add a seed bead, a size 10, miss one, go through one. I'm going to add another, so we're just peyoteing two. I think I've gone too far up there. Add one. No, I haven't done that right. Bear with me, and I'm going to take it back a little bit as well. See, we all make mistakes. And what I'm trying to do is to pull my thread back, but it really isn't working. So I'm going to go down the back and reposition. It's a good mistake to show you because it's rethreaded the needle. Now, the reason why I wasn't happy with that is it would have made the ring a bit lopsided, and I wasn't happy with that. So I'm going to start at this one here, if it will let me, and I haven't gone through it too many times. Ouch. So I'm going to add one, miss the next one and go over one. And I made a mistake as well, but we won't home in on that. Add one, miss a bead and go through one. Okay, so we've just added it like that. So you've got two little forks, and then we're going to turn round and come back towards me. So we'll add one and we'll go through that one. Add one, go through that one. Now, what I suggest you do, just to get a tight tension, is just pull on those. So can you see that rather than actually doing a peyote band and then actually re-adding it, we're actually doing it straight onto the ring. And I don't think this will take too long, to be honest. I just need to move everything out of my way. So if there's any gaps appearing, just take your time just to reposition things. Now you could also use delicas. Now for those of you that do beading, you'll know what I mean by delicas or Toho treasures. For those of you that haven't used them before, they're actually cylindrical shaped. I could have shown you some actually, but I think they're somewhere else in the room. So I'll just talk you through what they're like. They're cylindrical and they have like a diamond type sheen to them. They're absolutely beautiful. Now, just going back to what I'm doing here, this is called Peyote Stitch, and it's an even count because we're only adding 2 beads at a time. So I'm adding one, going through the bead that juts out, and then I'm turning. So after you've added the second bead, you turn. Add one, go through one. So that's where we're at. Now I might do a super mini version. I'm going to zap along, but do ask any questions. Now peyote, if you're new to it, it's a Native American Indian stitch that is widely used in needle and thread techniques with jewellery making. And with the Native American Indians, it's not just jewellery making. I think they use it for a lot of their clothing as well. You know, the decorative pieces. And it really feels like fabric. It's such a beautiful stitch. I mean, look how well that's coming along. Now, don't forget to have a look in the thread for the Tree of Life cabochons. You can also make them to make a matching pendant as well. So you could use the same technique, but you could just pad it out a bit more. And I have got some YouTube videos on actually making the more bead embroidery as well. And you can buy some of my starter bead embroidery kits as well. They're on my website and Hochanda. So I'm just adding 2 each time. I'm just double checking I'm on screen. Yeah, I've still got people watching. That's a bonus. Now, as soon as I get enough length on this, I am going to join it to the other side. No, not quite. Not quite. So obviously, you may ask, right, so how am I going to know how long to do the bar? How long do I make this for? Well, the truth is, it's just trial and error. In other words, as it goes along, just wrap it around your finger and see if it's long enough. And it's amazing how quickly this comes along. I mean, you're only adding 2 at a time. I think in a second we might be able to rejoin it. But as I think it was Jane, I think Jane's in the thread tonight, that said about peyote stitch when you're joining. So when we join this to the other side, it will come together a little bit like putting 2 parts of a zip together. Oh, I made myself a cup of tea and I forgot all about it. I must have a quick slurp of that in a minute. So look how well that's coming along. Now I think I'm going to have to do a little bit more because it's going to be a bit tight. But I hope you're getting the gist of this. Try and make sure when you do start this that you've got a good length of thread, because if I'm honest, it's a bit of a faff having to add and tie thread on and off. Right, let's do a couple more. And obviously, so this is the same technique that we did last week for the last 2 weeks actually, because we did a key ring with a peyote and then we had little tassels going off of it, and for the lariat necklace that we did as well. So add one, go through one, add one, go through one. Right, okie dokers. Now bear with me. So what you want to do, let's just take that back a bit. You want to do the same really and have a look at visually where it marries up. So I would say probably those 4 as well. It's perhaps not best centrally if I'm honest, however, because I'm doing it quite quickly, so that's that one there. I'm just going to pop that in there so it reminds me. So when I turn this round, okay, so this is going to be like a zip, right? So I'm just turning round, so I'm going to pop my needle. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to pop my needle through there. Okay, and then I'm going to pop my needle through the next one that's already in that bit there, skip a bead, so it's almost like you're peyoteing but not with adding any in. And then I'm going to go to the other side, so you're switching between one side and the other. And then I'm going to turn and come back. So can you see how I've joined that there? So you might just want to go back up just to tighten it a little bit. So we go to that one. Okie dokers. Right, so I'm just going to stop and I just want to show you how that's looking. So we have joined, so obviously your band's going to be bigger than that for the ring, but you'd have to just test it on your finger. All right. So how cool is that? So the final bit is to pop this little edge in. Now you can keep it plain if you want to, but it also covers up any blips that you might have made on there as well. So I'm going to switch back to my 15s and we're going to do a little, I can't think what they're called, but anyway, pick up edging, that's it, add 3. So we're going to miss every other, so you miss one and go through one. And then what you do is you pull it nice and tight so it sticks out. So miss one. Because that we've done an even count peyote, it should work out exactly right. Should. 1, 2, 3. I hope we're doing okay for time and that you're still enjoying watching. But do you know what? I think this is so beautiful. You could even, and it covers up, if you've got any white foundation showing at the back, it covers that up as well. And do you know what? The other thing I did with this is I actually measured out how much in terms of seed beading, and it was less than 2 grams of seed beads per ring, and I think it was less than half a gram for this little bit of size 12. So if you find that you want me to make up, it'll have to be when I get back now, but if you want me to make you up some bundles, so say for example you fancy making like 5 different colours up, and excuse me leaning over, I've run out of 15s, I just need to top up, and you want like 5 different colours of size 10 seed beads, for example, in 2 gram batches, then I'm quite happy to make up a pick and mix so that you've actually got lots of different colours. Now, because I've broken my needle. Right, now this is quite a good thing to show you, to be perfectly honest. Now, it's something to be wary of. Now, do you know what? I've actually got my needle, the end of my needle that snapped off is actually inside there. Let's see if we can get that out. Now, if you have the dilemma that you cannot get your, there we go, it's come out. If you cannot get your needle through there, then you buy a finer needle. Now, I'm not sure if I've got any finer needles in here. Let's have a look. Or a pair of pliers as well to pull it through. I might have to just talk you through the last bit if I can't get the 1, 2, 3 over there. Because I have gone through so many times with my thread, it's just having a bit of a mare because you're taking up too much space. There we go. See, it's all retrievable. Yeah, so you can get size 12 beading needles, which are slightly finer and they get into smaller gaps. And if you've got particularly, I know it sounds silly saying that, particularly small size 12s, you wouldn't believe some of the holes in the size 12s are smaller than in others. For one. Nearly there. And I'll show you how to tie off. But what I think this does is it just really makes it quite, sorry, leaning across. It just makes it really pretty, and I think it just hides any of the white foundation, and perhaps if you've got a join that's not as neat as you were hoping for, you just cover that up. Right. gone through the wrong part there. 1, 2, 3. So remember, 3 at a time creates that look. And last one, miss one, go through. So you should be going through the first one. Oh, that's might be killing another. Yeah, I think so. Let's see if we can just ease that in. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that is super cute. So you've got that picot around the edges. Now you could say, right, okay, how do we finish off? Now, if you're doing this, I'd say the easiest way is to go to the back, just go pick up 1 millimeter or so of foundation and just tie a knot. Don't pull it too tight though. Do it under the thread bars, do it in a couple of different places, and then cut. So there you have, we've done the whole project. Let's turn that round. So that's your mini cabochon. That's your peyote ring, which is super neat. So I'm going to come back to you and see if you've got any questions and how that was to follow. Oh, June says that's really pretty. Thank you. Francis says that's lovely. Mum says it's beautiful. Dot loves the colour. And Carol says it looks delicate. Well, I'm glad you like it. I think it's great the fact that, you know, you don't actually have to use much by way of materials as well. I can't put the blue one on because I think it's a bit small. Oh, I'm glad you're feeling inspired. You don't even have to have a patterned cabochon. There we go, look. But I just love the fact that it's got so much character in and it's so delicate as well. So what I might do is I might for next week is just actually use the cabochons, the Tree of Life cabochons, but show you how you can pad the cabochons out. So from something really tiny to making a feature so that we can do the peyote, but we can fill it out round the edges as well and put a few little beads in there as well. So I hope you enjoyed that. So let's just see. So Jay likes that, Janet likes that. I'm just going to make sure I haven't missed any. Oh, excuse me. Hello, Kay. It's good to have you. I'm just going to have a quick sip of my tea. Completely forgot about that. But that wasn't bad going, was it? Because what time are we? 1:45. We're still on time. Still on time. Let me show you some of the little cabochons we've got. So I think they're really reasonable. They've got a glass top on there as well. Literally all you do with the double-sided sticky tape is you just literally peel it back. I suppose you could almost double-sided sticky tape the fabric, but I'm not sure. So you'd pop that on there and then you just trim around it. So you just trim around that and then you'd peel the back off. But let's just show you some of them. So they're glass topped. I think they're 12 millimeter, but you've got I think there's like a pack, you get a pack of 5 for £1. And what you could do is if you get one or a couple of packs of them, then you could make matching ring and pendant, or you could even make some little earrings and glue on some stud backs as well. That would be quite nice. That's one of my favourites. I love that, autumnally colours. So there's lots of them in the thread. There's also some domed cabochons as well that are called backlit, which means that when you look through them, they might be pink, but you see other colours in them as well. Now you could use those with a pendant or the ring, and they are 50p each, but they're a little bit deeper on those as well. Kevin says, it's given me an idea where I can use my photos into the cabochons. What do you mean with the colours, the different colours, Kevin? Right, so I will do my spinny wheelie thing. So do make sure, as I said before, it's so much easier for me if you could like the post as well at the top, because it allows me to know exactly who's been watching and put all your names into a hat. So as I said, tomorrow I'm going to be on at 1. Sharon says she had a big backlit cabochon off me and it was beautiful. Oh, I remember that, Sharon. It was like an orange colour, wasn't it? Probably the size of a 10p piece. That was a beautiful piece that you did around it. Oh, pictures set into cabs, brilliant. Oh, thank you for good luck wishes for tomorrow. I think I'm feeling okay. I'm starting to embrace it a little bit more. I think I have Scott tomorrow, which, to be honest, you can't go wrong with any of them. They're all so lovely, and Scott's got brilliant energy. So I will hope that you might get opportunity to tune in, or you can watch back on the rewind. Oh, thank you, Lulu. She'll be tuning in. She said, I think I already shared my bracelet I used by backlit domes. Well, share it again, please. Thank you, Kevin, that you'll be watching. Thank you for the good luck, Janet. Oh, should be working. Well, I hope you have a good day and it goes as well as possible for you. Well, all my best to all of you. There are posts still going up for the rest of the evening. Oh, thanks, Mum. Thank you, Trisha. The Queen Bee's crown is lush. Oh, thank you, Carol. I'm already preparing for my next show in 2 weeks' time, where I'm going to have a slight little on them as well. Thank you, Kim. I'm glad you'll be watching them. Thank you, June. Yes, you put the necklace in the right place, Kevin. Thank you. All right, I'm tuning out. Thank you so much, all. Thank you, Tracy. Bye.